Hi everybody, welcome to Fit for Life. Let's get up and get moving. So for today, you're going to need a patch of wall, so make sure you have some place safe that you can use, and you're also going to need a TheraBand for a couple exercises. So I have that ready here, along with my cheat sheet here that I hope lines up with our board up there. And let's start off with our warm-up. So if it's your first time joining us, my name is Anna. I am an exercise specialist, Physiologist for the Aspen Primary Care Network here in Westlock. We used to do this class in person at the Spirit Center, but while we're unable to meet together, we're doing our best to stay motivated and stay moving from the safety of our own homes. So that being said, while you are at home, make sure that you're safe. You listen to your own self and how you're feeling while we're exercising. Aspen PCN, not liable for any type of injuries or damages that can be incurred during this video. So please just be safe while you're moving at home. If something's not quite feeling right, just stop and take a break and wait for the next one. No big deal. Okay? So nice high knees as we march for our warm-up. Gonna try and stay on time today, and we're just getting those joints lubricated. Get that breath to quicken a little bit, get the blood flowing. Feels good. Okay, we've got some good footwear on. We're gonna be doing some work that requires us to lean on the wall a bit. Don't want anyone to slide away on me. Nice warm up here. Okay, switch to our polka. Light on our toes. Feels good to get moving. Going up a warm up to just get that blood flowing to our working muscles, lubricate those joints, and to protect us from injuries. So we want to make sure that our warm-up is gentle, but it gets us going. Okay? Nice polka here. Good job. Going on to our hip swings. Nice swings through the hip. You might feel one side has a little more movement than the other side. That's okay. Get everything warmed up there. The other side. Try not to kick anything in your house there. You want to have a little bit of room to do this, but as you can see, we don't need very much fancy equipment to get a bit of work done. Okay. And we'll do our shoulders, starting those circles small, getting bigger. Getting bigger, and then getting smaller again, and then switching directions. Getting bigger, getting bigger. Okay, and getting smaller again. All right, so now that we're warmed up, we're gonna head on over to our wall. Sure that you have a little bit of room here. We're going to start off with wall push-ups. So the most important thing when you're doing your wall push-up is to make sure that your hands are in a nice position so that when you're coming in, they're still at your chest. They're not up here by your head, okay? So that's a common mistake that I see people make. They start off and their hands are too high. So when they come in, their hands are way up here. Make sure your hands are low enough, your hand placement, so that when you come in, you're still at chest level. You can bring your feet just a couple inches away from the wall. Will make it a lot more difficult. And we can just do some nice push-ups there. My torso stays nice and straight. This is a full body exercise. We're getting that core involved here. We hold this nice kind of plank position, right? We're not sagging. We're not sticking our butt out. We're not doing any of that. My hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And you can make it easier by stepping a little bit closer to the wall. You can make it harder by going down to the kitchen counter. Maybe go a little lower. That's okay too. All right. Feeling good there. Nice work through the shoulders and through the chest with that one. Okay, next we're going to do some side leg raises. So we're going to have our elbow on the wall here. I'm kind of leaning against my wall, making sure that my butt is not sticking out the back, and we're nice and straight through the torso here. And we're going to bring this leg out to the side and back. Chair's in the way here for me. And out to the side, coming back. Pause at the top. Come on back. The toes stay pointing forward. Come on back. Nice modified side plank here, where we get the torso involved. If this is too uncomfortable through this arm, you can always do just a normal side leg raise while you hold on to the wall for balance here. But if you can, try and modify that bridge, making sure that those toes don't point out to the side, okay? Let's do the other side. We're making sure that we're nice and straight here. We're not sticking the bum out to the side. Pause, slowly back. If you're just standing here swinging your foot like this, you are not getting the same benefit. Let's make sure our time here is worth it and that we are getting good activation of those target muscles, that side butt, also known as gluteus medius, having to do some work here. And slowly back. Pause when you come out. Slowly back. Good job. All right. For the next one, we're going to get back into that wall push-up position, but instead of doing a push-up now, we're going to do a Superman. This exercise is quite often done on the floor. So if you want to, you can do this on the floor, but I find the modification on the wall is quite simple and very helpful for individuals who don't want to get down on the floor. So we're coming to the wall. We're getting in push-up position. I'm going to take one arm. Now when I'm extending it back, I'm really thinking about squeezing this shoulder blade back and down, okay? I'm not just bringing that arm as far back as I can. Thinking about that shoulder blade coming back and down, getting a good squeezing through there, okay? And then my opposite hip, so this side is going to be this shoulder, and this hip is going to extend, all right? I'm balancing with the other one. So we're extending, squeezing this opposite glute, getting good activation there, and the other side. And good squeeze through the shoulder blade, good squeeze through the glute. And we're making sure that we're staying very square to the wall here. A common problem that I see happen here is people go, well, first off, they don't do opposites. They go like that, or they go like that. And my chair is in the way here a little bit. So I don't want to see anything like that happening, okay? You can see how much is just twisting in through my other hip. I want this to just be coming from that hip, that extension, staying very square to the wall, okay? So extend the hip, bring that shoulder blade back and down, and the other side. Hold, squeeze, and the other side. Hold that squeeze. Think of the glute, think of the shoulder blade, and the other side. hold. Proper activation of the proper muscles here. Squeeze, hold, and one more on each side here. Squeeze, hold, and last one. Squeeze, hold. Feels good, all right? Good strengthening across the back, all right? Next one we're going to do is really starting to pick apart the posture. So for this one, if you do have any kind of neck pain or anything like that, please be careful with this one. It can get very sore if you overdo it, so make sure if you're practicing this at home, don't do it too many times, all right? Now you're going to need your wall, and you're going to be leaning against your wall. I don't care what's going on with your feet. Hips are going to be against the wall. We have natural curvature in our lower back here that is normal, and I should be able to fit a hand back there. And then we're going to put our upper back against the wall, so shoulders are in a nice position. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take our chin, which is usually way out here, we're going to tuck it in slightly. So my gaze is very flat on the horizon here. I'm not looking down or anything like that. I'm just tucking slightly, and then I am retracting straight back towards the wall. And I'm making this very wonderful double chin here, okay? Make sure your shoulders don't come crunching up while you're concentrating on doing this. So, chin, this is where we start. I'm going to tuck and retract. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and relax. You can use your hand to guide your chin, tuck and retract. What I don't want to see is just hinging back to the wall. I guess I'm not saying anything here because you guys are doing this at home, but I want you to make sure that if you're coming back, you're maintaining this tuck. If you don't reach the wall with the back of your head, that's okay. And if you have been stuck in this head forward posture for a very long time, you might not reach the back of the wall on day one, and that's okay. This is a good tool for your toolbox. Keep your shoulders down. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a good tool for your toolbox as far as improving your posture and bettering your posture. Deep neck strengthening going on up here, and a lot of stretching through the high suboccipitals, we call them, those chunky little muscles at the back of your head, okay? So we're gonna kind of get back into that position, but this time we're gonna do some wall slides. So we're gonna work with these big leg muscles, making sure that your feet are far enough away from the wall when you're doing this. A very common problem I see people doing is they're scared to bring their feet away from the wall. But then the problem that happens is when they come down, their knees go over their toes and they say that this exercise hurts. Well, it hurts probably because you're doing too much or your form is wrong. So make sure your feet are a nice little distance away from the wall. My feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart, and I'm going to come on down into my wall sit. See how my knees are stacked nicely over my ankles. My back is on here all the way. I'm not sticking my hips out or anything. I'm going to hold this for a few seconds. Big work going on up here, and I'm pushing back up, okay? If you need to, adjust a little bit. If you can't go down so far, don't go down so far. Remember, you got to push back up. If you can only come down a little bit and you find that that push up is hard enough, that's fine. Do a quarter slide. That's nothing wrong with that. If you can come a little further down so you're almost parallel to the floor there, that's great too. See if you can lift those toes off of the floor. You're not clinging to the floor with your toes. Pushing on up. Feels good. Big muscles having to work here. Let's do it again. Make sure your feet are in a good spot. again, coming on down as far as you're comfortable, making sure that you can breathe while you're here. You can do a little bit of a pelvic floor lift if you want here. You can think about having your feet adjusted. If you want, you can try doing one leg at a time. Really strengthen that up. Bring one foot out. Do a few pedals here. That's okay. You can play with your wall sit. All right? Coming on back up. Good job, you guys. We're going to keep on blasting through to the next one. For the next one, we're again modifying an exercise that is very commonly done on the floor. And we're going to take this and do it using a chair, because I find that exercises aren't any good if people don't want to do them because they don't want to get down on the floor. So let's take it, let's modify it so everybody can do them. So instead of getting on the floor into our traditional tabletop position on hands and knees, we're going to do tabletop using our chair. Look at that, nice and easy, okay? Nice flat back. We're going to again use the same principles as for the Supermans, where we think about that shoulder blade coming back and down and that glute, opposite glute activating. All right? If you can, do the hand and then the opposite leg extends. Try and stay nice and flat through your hips, as flat as you can. And if that's too much, just do one limb at a time. Start out with one hand and then come on down. And then bring a leg out, and then come on down, and then do the other hand, hold, squeeze, come on down, do the other leg, hold, squeeze, come on down. If you feel comfortable doing an arm and the opposite leg, go for it. And these do get better as you practice. Try and stay a little soft through that standing leg. Make sure your knee's not too locked back. And the other side, bringing the arm out and the opposite leg. Hold, 2, 3. Remember to breathe. And the other one. Bring that arm out first, and then the opposite leg. Hold, nice and flat as you can through the back, and coming on down. Good job. Before we do our sit down, we're going to do our chair squats. Make those legs work a little bit harder. So, as usual, lining up nicely with your chair. My feet are about chair width apart, little bit wider than hip width apart. That's where I'm most comfortable. And we're coming down to just touch and coming on back up all the way. Remembering that there's a lot of different versions that we can do of this chair squat. We can do a quarter squat where we're just coming down to wherever we're comfortable and coming on back up. There's nothing wrong with doing that if that's where your legs are happy. You can do a full sit to stand. Try and have your arms folded across your chest. Remember to stand up all the way. I'm just giving you guys a side view there. And if you're able to do that full version where we're just touching the bum to the chair and coming on back up, that's great too. I really like using the chair here because it keeps our knees in a nice, happy position. Whereas when I'm squatting in the middle of nowhere here, I find that people tend to lose their form and they do this too much. And that hurts the knees, okay? They lean too far forward, the hips are too far forward. Whereas if we have that chair to aim for, I kind of have a goal, keeps my form so much better, and my legs are so much happier. And what a great functional movement this squat is. So important in our everyday life. All right, You can make this a little harder by doing little things like you can tie a band around your legs. And then you can do a squat, keeping your knees apart. A little bit of resistance there adds in a little bit more hip work. It's really good for us. You can do this chair squat with a little bit of a lift, bringing that knee up. There's all different kinds of ways that we can play with this. So whatever one is your favorite, whatever feels best, you do that one, okay? On we go. So I'll sit down for my 3-point punches here. If you want, you can do this standing up. Or if you want to sit down and take a bit of a breather with me here, that's good too. So for our 3-point punch, I'm going to anchor the band to the middle of my chest, and I'm going to punch in 3 different directions. So I'm going to start off with a shoulder press punch in the air, then I'm going to punch forward, and then I'm going to punch to the side, all right? So I'm punching in 3 different directions. 3, all right? Up, forward, side. Up, I hope I don't get mixed up here. Forward and side. All right, a few more. Up, forward, and side. If you have problems with your rotator cuff, you might not want to do that overhead work so much. So that's okay if you're kind of a little more out to the side out here instead of straight up, forward, side, or if you want to stay in lower ranges, there's nothing wrong with that. When I talk about lower ranges, I generally mean below 90 degrees. One more round here. Up, forward, and side. Making sure that our shoulders are staying nicely down where they're supposed to be and they're not crunching up by our ears. All right, other side, we're going to anchor that band to our chest. I start at the shoulder and I'm going to punch up and forward and side. Good work. Remembering with the band, we are nice and controlled on the release. Side and up, forward, side. Good work. Forward, side. I can definitely feel a little more fatigue sooner on this side. So when you do start to feel that fatigue or that muscle burn, you want to just be careful that you don't slip up into making mistakes and having poor form. When we get tired, that's typically when we get hurt quite often. So be careful if that's happening to you. Last round, up, forward, and side. Good job. All right. Next, we're going to keep on working those shoulders. This time we're going to come back. So we're going to be doing wide flies. I want you to make sure that your thumbs are in a thumbs up position. So I hold this band thumbs up. I just want to really make sure you're not pointing your thumbs down here. Thumbs up. I'm starting nicely forward from the shoulders and I'm keeping those arms straight. I'm really squeezing the shoulder blades together here and squeeze those shoulder blades. All right. Wide out fly. Squeeze the shoulder blades, hold it, slow release. Squeeze, hold, and release. Squeeze, hold, release. Make sure your shoulders aren't crunching up to your ears. Keep them down. Squeeze those shoulders back together. Slowly release. Squeeze those shoulders and release. Remembering with our resistance exercises, the first few repetitions should feel pretty easy. The last few repetitions, we should be feeling a bit of that heat, a bit of that fatigue, a little bit of that muscle burn in through there, which I know I'm getting there, so that's good. Okay, good. We're gonna do things a little different today and call it good for our upper body. Move on to our core, then we're gonna go to balance. So for core, we're going to do our modified Russian twists. So with this one, I want you to think better form is always going to be better. So I'm going to keep a heel on the floor while I'm doing this, rather than having my feet free. So activating nicely in through the core, thinking about that corset muscle tightening up and keeping us all nicely in our good posture. We're going to semi-recline. I like to fold my hands across my chest here, and I'm going to bring my elbow to my opposite knee, and this rotation is very much coming from my torso, from my obliques here, and not from my shoulders reaching like that. Okay, that's not what's going on. So nice and upright, semi-reclined, and twisting from the lower abdomen here. Hold and twist. Good. Good job. And remembering to breathe while you're doing this, nice and slow. Try and stay semi-reclined here. It's going to be a little bit easier if you scooch back in your chair a bit. Keep going. Making sure that you're not reaching with those shoulders and that this twist is coming from the lower obliques. Good job. And one more on each side here. Hold. And last one. Hold. Whew. Some good work. We should be feeling that in through those obliques. They kind of crisscross on top of each other there. Okay, so moving on to our balance, as we do every time. Balance, remember, is a lot of fun because we get to play with it. So checking in with our tandem stand first. Have your chair nearby, or a kitchen counter is a really nice height to be practicing balance with. And if you need full support, that's fine. If you can practice less and less fingers on your countertop, that's best. Switch your feet. If you've been with us for some time now, you should be noticing some improvements in this tandem stand. See how you're feeling. Do a bit of a weight transfer here. And feels pretty good. Okay? We are going to, and I'm falling out of it already. I am going to take my water bottle today and do a little bit of work with my water bottle as I do my one leg stand. So coming on to my one leg stand, I hope you have something to hold in your hand. It doesn't need to be very heavy. It could be a pillow, it can be a pen, it can be whatever is nearby that you can grab, your band, whatever you want. So one leg stand here. If you need to have your chair nearby, that's fine. See if you can do an unsupported one leg stand. See how soft you can have this knee. Is your other leg free, or are your legs clamped together? We want to be nice and free through that leg, nice and soft through the knee. So check the hips. Are you activated through the hips, or are you sagged through that hip? So pick up the hip if you feel like you've fallen on one side. And then we're going to hold that item in front of us. And if you need to have a hand for balance here, you can. But if you can, keep that item in front of you. And then we're going to follow the item with our gaze. We're going to bring that out to the side, slowly following our water bottle with our eyes, and slowly coming back. I can feel my balancing leg working here. I'm going to switch hands and right away do it. Whoop! Right away do it with the other side. Oh, I'm wobbly today, you guys. Coming slowly back. I almost made it. So remember that the wobble is good. That means that things are working. I can definitely feel things working in through that foot and lower leg on that one. Let's do the other side. See if you can do a full pass from one hand to the other to completion. So again, checking the knee, checking the free leg to see that you're nice and free and soft. Check your hips to see if you're cocked or if you're nice and straight. And then holding that water bottle in front of you. And try it the opposite way now. Following the water bottle with your gaze. Oh boy, this foot is worse, you guys. Slowly coming back. And going to the other hand. And we're almost there. And slowly coming back. Okay. We made it. So that's a really good one. We can see how much our balance is affected by a little bit of a change in weight, in movement, and with our gaze. Sight is definitely a big component of balance. So let's do our calf stretch here. Bringing that leg nicely behind us. Bringing that heel down towards the floor as we lean into this front leg a little bit. Feels good to stretch that out. Do the other side. Toes are pointing nicely forward. And the other side again. Good. And the other one. All right. We're going to throw in a really targeted chest stretch today as well. Since we were working with the wall, we're going to come to our wall for our chest stretch. So I want you to support the elbow on the wall at about shoulder height. And we're going to just lean into, stick with my other foot, I'm just going to lean into this shoulder a bit. So this is nice and straight. I'm coming forward, feeling a big stretch in through my chest. There. Good. The other side. Elbow is supported at about shoulder height. And leaning forward. Nice chest stretch. Really important to stretch out the chest. These very targeted chest stretches feel great, especially if we have any problems in through the neck. And good stretch here. Good. And the other one. Having that elbow supported, elbow stays put, and this shoulder comes forward. Nice stretch. Okay. Good. Sit down. We're going to stretch out our necks. So starting off, you can either hold on to the bottom of your chair or tuck this hand behind your back and just bring this elbow, this shoulder down towards your ear. Nice upper trap stretch here. Make sure you breathe while you're stretching. A lot of us tend to hold our breath and not even notice it. And the other side. If you're feeling pain on the other side, on the side that's compressing here, just readjust your posture a little bit. Make sure you're not totally fallen in through that side. And you can roll forward a bit too and see if that changes the stretch for you. If that improves anything. Okay, nice twist here today. Really shoulder as far as you can. Good. Twist from your seat to your crown. Thinking about how important it is to be able to still do those shoulder checks. Feels good. Turn the other way. Good. We're going to do our modified piriformis stretch today. So rather than doing the ankle on the knee and the lean forward, I want you to bring that ankle kind of across the knee. We're going to bring this knee towards the opposite shoulder, hugging it up there, and I twist into that, and I feel a nice pull in through the side of the glute, down the leg there. Try and stay nice and upright with your posture. The better your posture can be here, the better of a stretch you're going to feel. I'm going to show you guys the side view here. We're going to bring the ankle over across the knee, drawing this knee towards my other shoulder and twisting into it. My back stays pretty nice and straight here. All right, we're going for a good pull in through the side of the glute there. This is quite often nicer if you do have any problems going on with your knees or even your hips or anything like that. So knee towards the opposite shoulder and twist into it a little bit. Remember to sit nice and tall. Don't let those shoulders crunch up towards your ears. And the other way, drawing that across. Good. Stretch. Nice pull through the side of the glute. Wonderful. And finishing off with our hamstrings. Let you guys see the side view here. Plant the heel. I'm sitting nicely forward in my seat. If you're sitting too far back, you're not going to feel this. So sitting nicely forward in my seat, sit nice and tall, plant the heel, engage the toe, hinging forward a little bit. This is a great way to stretch out those hamstrings, but not to irritate anything in the back. Okay. Doing the other side, plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting tall, and moving forward. Okay. Feeling good there. And plant the heel, engage the toe, sit nice and tall, hinging forward. And last one, plant the heel, engage the toe up towards you, sitting nice and tall, hinging at the hip. So thinking about drawing forward from that belly button. Goal here is not to touch your toes, because when we do that, our back collapses and we lose the stretch. So nice, good posture here. Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to try and keep these videos coming. If you do have any questions, concerns, comments, you can call us here at the office, talk to your doctor about a one-on-one referral, or drop us a comment, however you want to send us a message. But take care.